Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're taking something that feels, honestly, a bit mundane, hydration, and completely reframing it. It's not just a physical requirement, it's a critical pillar of your cognitive function and longevity. I know, we've all heard drink more water, and we kind of treat it like a chore, right? Something we only do when we're desperately thirsty? Well, today, we're going to completely change how you look at that glass of water sitting on your desk.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a massive number, 75%. That is the amount of water making up your brain right now. You can think of your brain kind of like a high-performance sports car, and that 75% fluid, it's acting as the absolutely crucial coolant for your mental engine. When you don't have enough of it, there's just no way that engine can run at peak capacity.
So I want to ask you something directly. Are your mood, memory, and even how you age currently being dictated by your water bottle? It sounds like a stretch, I know, but look at the data. Roughly 3 out of every 4 Americans are chronically dehydrated. 3 out of 4. That means there is a huge chance that your daily struggles, that terrible afternoon slump, forgetting your passwords, or just suddenly feeling irritable, might actually be tied directly to what you're drinking.
Section 1. The shrinking brain. The biological crisis of chronic dehydration.
All right, jumping back to that engine metaphor. Your brain relies entirely on fluid to transport vital nutrients, things like oxygen and glucose. It regulates internal temperature and maintains the delicate communication between all your cells. When you run low on fluids, that engine literally overheats. The communication pathways between your neurons start to slow way down, and over time, that lack of hydration actually begins to degrade your neurological hardware.
Now here is the truly terrifying reality of chronic dehydration. It's structural. It can physically shrink your brain. We call this brain atrophy. MRI scans have shown us that prolonged fluid deficiency actually causes your brain to lose fluid content, which forces the cells to compact just to compensate. Your brain is literally shrinking inside your skull.
And when your brain shrinks like that, it pulls and puts pressure on the surrounding areas. Suddenly, all those annoying everyday symptoms make perfect sense, don't they? Headaches, deep brain fog, severe fatigue, slower reaction times, impaired decision-making. These are the direct results of your brain having to expend extra unnecessary energy just to perform its basic baseline functions while dehydrated.
And the consequences go way beyond just a bad afternoon at the office. There was this massive National Institutes of Health study that tracked over 11,000 adults for a 25-year period. What they found was a fascinating, albeit scary, domino effect. Adults with lower fluid levels showed signs of advanced biological aging. Basically, a single drop in your baseline fluid intake cascades into a higher risk for chronic diseases like heart failure and actually a significantly greater chance of premature death.
Section 2. Mood, stress, and cortisol, the mental health toll of low fluids.
You really have to notice the stark juxtaposition in our internal chemistry here. On one hand, a hydrated brain promotes the production of happy hormones. We're talking serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. This gives you clear focus and emotional resilience. But a dehydrated brain, well, it drops your electrolytes and literally misinterprets a lack of water as a survival threat. It throws your entire body into a fight or flight response, spiking your cortisol and mimicking the exact physical symptoms of severe anxiety.
And this chemistry is backed up by some pretty stunning research. A major study out of Liverpool John Moores University put participants through a highly stressful situation, a math task, and a mock job interview. They found that the people who were dehydrated had cortisol stress spikes up to 50% higher than the people who were well hydrated during that exact same stressful event. 50%. Water is acting as a literal buffer against stress.
So how do we actually know where we stand? Believe it or not, your bathroom habits are basically your best dashboard. Light yellow? That means optimal hydration and high cognitive clarity. You're doing great. But as that color starts shifting to dark yellow or amber, you're stepping into severe dehydration territory. Losing just 5% of your body's water content directly correlates with high cortisol, trouble concentrating, and massive performance drops across the board.
Section 3. The psychology of habits. Why is it so hard to drink water?
I absolutely love this quote because it relieves so much guilt. Failing to drink water is not a moral failure, and it doesn't mean you lack willpower. It's really just a reflection of how our brains operate. To save brain power, regions like our basal ganglia default to automatic routines. So if reaching for a water bottle isn't already on autopilot for you, your brain simply won't allocate the energy to remind you to do it until it's an absolute emergency, which, by the way, is exactly what thirst is. But fortunately, we can actually hack this exact psychological loop. We can stop relying on willpower entirely and start making hydration automatic. Every single habit relies on 3 steps: the cue that triggers you, the routine you perform, and the reward you get. To drink more water, we have to deliberately engineer this loop into our daily lives.
And when we do that, we trigger neuroplasticity. Through self-discipline and repeated actions, your brain actually rewires itself. Those new neural pathways get stronger every single time you take a sip of water in response to a specific cue. What this means is that you have the power to seamlessly integrate healthy habits and literally repair cognitive decline from the inside out.
Section 4. Rewiring your routine. Building the hydration habit. All right, first things first. Let's establish our baseline target here. According to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, adult females need about 9 cups of fluid daily, and adult males need about 13 cups. Hitting these numbers consistently? Yeah, that's not going to happen by accident. Reaching this goal requires a structured system.
There is just a massive difference between hoping you'll drink water versus deliberately engineering your environment for success. Good habit builders rely on external systems, things like setting alarms, keeping visible bottles around, and stacking hydration onto existing habits. Bad habit traps, on the other hand, rely on waiting until you feel thirsty, which, remember, means you're already dehydrated, or they lean on diuretics like excessive caffeine, or just vaguely hoping your memory will magically remind you to drink.
Okay, so here are your rapid-fire, actionable takeaways. First, front-load your fluid by drinking a glass right when you wake up. Next, habit stack. Tie a glass of water to something you already do every day, like making your morning coffee or brushing your teeth. And hey, don't forget your plate. About 20 to 30% of our water actually comes from food, so incorporating water-rich foods like watermelon, strawberries, or cucumbers offers a wonderfully low-effort solution to a massive biological problem. Now, the absolute most important takeaway I want to leave you with today is this: it is never too late to reverse the domino effect. The human brain is remarkably resilient. Research shows that just a few weeks of dedicated, consistent hydration can clear the brain fog, improve your reaction times, and really repair that mental engine.
Which brings us to the ultimate choice you have to make today. Your brain is highly adaptable. So will you let it shrink on autopilot, suffering the silent consequences of chronic dehydration? Or will you use the psychology of habit building to fuel your mind, protect your mental health, and ensure your engine runs powerfully for decades to come? Grab a glass of water right now and take that first step.